All right, welcome back. So today I want to talk about a first lesson that I'm going to give you guys on how to use this properly. And the first step is to be able to get your hemispheres to coordinate properly. So the best way to do this is with music, okay? So this hand is controlled by the left brain. This hand is controlled by the right brain, okay? And they function differently. So in order for you to be able to synchronize them, you have to use them together. And the best way to do that is to build out a mental pattern or a mental process that is just following just music. Now, before you do that, I suggest that you get one of these. It's a classical guitar. It's a nylon string. You don't have to spend a lot of money on these things. The quality has improved over the years. This is about $150. And I'm biased because I play guitar, so I suggest that you get one. Now, the first thing you need to do after you get your guitar is, of course, tune it. And I've tuned this to standard tuning with a drop D. So instead of E, this is a D. The reason is because that's the note that I like. So that's the step that you're going to have to do next. Find the note that you like. Find the sound that you like. That will become your internal, let's say, frequency, your musical frequency. And then you want to expand upon that particular sound. Okay, so find out everything about that D. Okay, and let's say find the D chord. You can go on the interwebs and do that. And by the way, to tune it, you can also go on the interwebs. A lot of resource on there to be able to do some basic stuff. You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to do any of those things. All you want to do is you want to search which note do you like to hear. Okay, you want to hear a D, you want to hear an E, A, or whatever. Okay, or a D that's an octave higher than what I was playing. And then once you find that note that you like, you want to do everything that you can that is related to that. So you find the D chord, right? And then you start to play notes that are part of that D chord. And there's really nothing sophisticated about it. There's nothing difficult about it. Now you want to be able to play that D chord, as a bar chord as well, because you can find those notes there. And then you want to play the notes that are part of that. And then you want to do some variations of those, right? And then once you find those, then you want to be able to transition from one chord, right? Play some different types of chords that are related to D, like D suspended 2. And then you want to, let's say, move down and play this next chord, okay? And you can transition from them, right? So when you find those, what you're doing is you're training your brain to do the one thing that you probably have never done when it comes to the hemispheres. You're coordinating them, because the language of the brain itself, of the right hemisphere, is dependent upon you doing things on the fly. The left brain is more cerebral, because you sit down and you think, you write stuff, and it has its own language, which is the language that I'm using now. I'm speaking, right? But music is different. Music is sound. And when you translate that sound, that's what your brain, your right hemisphere understands, right? It understands those patterns. So if you play it like that, and find those sounds, you'll be able to transition between, right, different chords. You'll be able to figure out what note to play next, right? This is chromatic. So like Victor Wooten says, there's really no such thing as the wrong note, right? The wrong note can be it's just in your head. Find a note that is your frequency, and then play against that. Okay? And then next video, I'll show you guys how to do resonance and dissonance. Okay? See you next one. Laters.